Hi there, welcome to Test Roll. I'm Martin.
I'm Lars.
And we've got another system camera to look at. This kind of predates many of the system cameras that we've come to know and love. This one is one that I didn't even know existed, but Lars, can you show us what you've got?
This was a camera that, when I was a kid, I was in high school, my father went to an estate sale and bought a couple of cameras, and this was one of them. And he came home and he was really excited about it. This is a Plaubel Makina III R. Many of you might be familiar with the Plaubel Makina 67, which is a 6x7 medium format camera with bellows and all that.
My mind always goes to that.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it's a well-loved camera. It breaks a lot, but it's a well-loved camera. I never knew about it until my father came home with the thing. Now, my father being my father, you know, it's like I never touched the camera until, frankly, after he died. And it's like this was the first camera I went looking for in the house. It's like, gotta get that Plaubel Makina. It's a fascinating camera. It is both a frustrating, you know, nutso camera, and it's also just beautifully designed. It has all these features that are really interesting. Most of which, if you try to use, you will go crazy. I have 3 lenses for the thing. You know, you can change the lens, which you can't do with the remake. It has a sports finder here. It has open viewfinder here. It has 3 different range finders depending on which lens you're using. You focus it here and it just compresses the bellows. It has a scissor mechanism here. The earliest version I know of was designed in 1911.
Wow.
So it's very old design. And it looked a lot like this, but I don't think you could change the lenses. I don't think you could change the film magazines. This one has a ground glass, and you can either use sheet film or you can use different film magazines.
How long did they go with these?
This one, I believe they stopped making it in, was it 1959? This is the very last model they ever sold.
Wow. So it went through World War I and World War II, the Korean War.
It's hard to say what this camera was made for. I think it was designed as a bit of a press camera, but also it was such a good camera. It was used for a lot of, you know, whether it was fashion photography or advertising, but you could use it as a press camera. This is a really unique sort of grip thing, and I've never seen another camera with it.
It doesn't look like it would be comfortable, but...
It's slightly uncomfortable,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. It is German.
but once you get used to it, it's actually a good way to hold the camera.
Well, you know, yeah, hand-holdable, almost large format.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Except that it's a medium format.
now this camera was natively a 6x9. So
okay, 6 centimeters by 9 centimeters.
Yes.
Okay.
I also have a 6x6 back, and there's this other back here.
Yeah, when you first told me about this, I said, I have to see this. This is a 35 millimeter back, because why wouldn't you want to use the ease of 35 millimeter on this? That is just wild. I have to see this in action, because that is just weird.
It doesn't seem like a good idea because all your viewfinders are for 6x9, which is a lot bigger than 35 millimeter. How do you frame that?
Well, we're going to find out how this works.
Yeah.
So, folks, thanks for being along for the ride, and we're going to go walking around and show you what we find.
It'll be interesting. I do know how to load this. I have loaded this back several times. Put that in there. Now we've got a pair of windows there. Now, close that up. Oop, there's another thing.
There it is.
That's one. Use odd. So this is a 6x9 frame, and so the way the numbering works on the backing paper, I will need to use 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. think of it, I have actually never loaded this with film.
That's probably better. Well, I mean, if you're...
Yeah, I think it...
And that's the more difficult way to do it. I'm going to suggest that we go within 10 feet of the house where there's food and water. Well, welcome back. It's been months. We've been walking around all that time, and what I was hoping for was an easy, fun day became a little more complicated than I really thought. It's an interesting camera, so I have mixed feelings of how much I'm going to want to use this camera, but let's take a look at some of the pictures and then maybe we can see what worked and what didn't especially work.
Why don't we start in San Dimas?
Oh,
yes.
okay. Because that's the first place
That's
we
kind
went
of
to.
our starting point. It was, you know, the shot of the flag, and it took me a couple of tries, one of which I completely forgot about the concept of focus.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're shooting, and it's like, I probably should have focused the camera.
Instead of autofocus, it's not autofocus.
Yeah. And that's one of the problems when you pick up a camera that is so radically different from the way most cameras work, is it can just completely slip your mind that, oh, you have to do this weird little focus thing to...
Oh, there we go. The San Dimas Train Station Museum.
And a bit of
Got a
light
little
leak.
bit of light leak there. Obviously, it's from the holder.
Yeah, if I had to
guessing.
guess, is, you know, there's a velvet light trap that interfaces with the magazine, and I think it's, you know, it's older than I am, so...
Your velvet's a little worn too.
Yes, well,
so is mine.
Yeah, that light trap just isn't as good as it needs to be. There was one interior, I believe.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
there we go. So, this was fun. I don't think we have any footage of this, but we were in the parking lot being a couple of suspicious characters when one of the museum docents showed up, and it looked like he was ready to call the cops.
I would have.
And I think just out of complete pity, he invited us in for just a quick tour. So it was kind of neat to be able to see the interior of the museum, which I've never been able to see because I'm always there when it's not open. So it was nice, and I do appreciate the quick tour. And but it was really nice not getting arrested that day. And oh yeah, there we go.
There's,
some clouds. Pretty
nice
day,
big
yeah.
clouds behind the hardware store, and more flags. I guess. Oh right, this was shot in July.
This was
that
like
was-
July 4, wasn't it?
Maybe, you know,
It was like-
definitely around that time, and
So,
so
yeah.
hence a lot of flags.
Yeah. And oh, the feed store.
Right.
And
This one is actually 35 millimeter.
oh, so it is. Yeah, you can see the sprocket holes here just slightly in the scan. I don't think this particular 35 millimeter setup, after using it, was quite working properly. It was there was some kind of weird things going on with the counter, I thought. Or
Yeah, and the advance, I mean, the space between each frame is like almost a full frame.
Yeah, it
So-
was different for
Yeah.
sure. All right, let's move on. Oh, I'm not sure of what that is. I think Grain elevator?
Yeah, you'd mentioned it might be a way of like pumping grain up here and then it
And
loads
loading
into
a truck, yeah. You know, this was a very rural area back in the early 1900s. And
we're back to 6x9 here.
oh, okay. There's the 6x9 Roadie's restaurant. Yeah, I had a good breakfast there.
I liked the sign, and I just thought it, color-wise, it looked nice.
Yeah,
So.
and of course, streaky. So.
Yeah, so.
Oh
well.
Yeah, and portraiture time. All right.
This is, again, back to 35 millimeter.
So you had this halo of...
Well, that sort of happens sometimes with my hair. You had set this up on a tripod and were fairly careful about getting the framing, which is the only reason why I think it's framed quite well.
Well, we were guessing. Just
actually,
those other shots came out rather well when you consider. I think we had the viewfinder, but it fell apart.
The difference here, though, is your framing was pretty good. This is my framing with the 35 millimeter, and I was optimistic as to where the top of the frame was
and where focus was.
And I just decided, focus that's not for me.
Focus schmocus.
But when you're careful and you set it up properly,
I kind of felt like we needed the assurance of a ground glass, and that gets you your focus, and that gets you your framing.
Yeah.
Okay, there you are, looking like an angry god. You need your trident, and don't trust these people. Yeah. And there's the Makina 6.7.
Yeah. Which, I just thought it would be goofy shooting the Makina 6.7 with a Makina 3R. So anyway, we got some pretty decent, frames with 35 millimeter, but I guess that's the last frame of that.
Oh, all right.
So
that first go round with the focus issues, and I think part of the focus issues had to do the fact that when you pull the bellows out, it is set with the rangefinder to be in focus with one lens, and I think that was the 100 millimeter.
Yes, there are two positions for the bellows. There's sort of a midway one, which is for the wide-angle lens, and the full extent one, which is for the 100 millimeter, and I forget what the long lens is.
But let me ask, that mid position, was that give you an accurate rangefinder?
With the wide-angle lens, you pull the bellows out all the way, you focus normally with the rangefinder on the wide-angle scale, and then once you've got that scale, you push it back halfway. It's this confusing, convoluted way of focusing the camera. It makes it almost impossible to use. It's just remarkably frustrating.
And that, when we got that rollback, that's what made me think, I'm using it not the way I want to get the kind of results that I want to. And I think it got better with the second walkabout. And let's have a look at some of those.
Here is the Sparklets facility in Eagle Rock. We're just shooting black and white on this stuff. It's Cinestill Double X.
Double X. Oh, okay. So motion picture stock, but coated on medium format. Yeah. Okay.
In this case,
it's kind of an odd building, isn't it?
It seems like Middle Eastern mosque kind of inspired architecture. Domes and turrets and whatnot. It's an interesting building, and so something to shoot.
You got some bridge stuff that you shot yourself,
now,
it looks like.
This was stuff that I was doing just on my own. This is the base of the Colorado Street Bridge. This is one where I had it on a tripod and I was using a ground glass for composition and focus.
I think that's, definitely the way to go.
Yeah. But that did not stop me from doing a triple exposure.
Shut up, it was on purpose, right?
No, I meant to do that.
That's,
Yeah, one was vertical, two were horizontal. It's, This is photographed under the mulberry tree in the middle of the river.
Well, so I think we already sort of alluded to what I found to be the strength as far as I like working with it more like a view camera, I think, and when it comes right down to it. Its benefit to me is that nice lens. That's a nice lens when it's in focus. And
it handles color reasonably well too.
yeah, I would probably do that again sometime with slowing myself down purposely and not getting sucked in by the whole rangefinder thing, because I think that probably just was a path to madness there. And we had to do the 35 just because it could.
Yeah.
Should you?
No.
I don't think so, no. How about you?
My take on it, and this comes more because I use view cameras a lot. To me, it's a frustrating camera to use as a view camera because it has none of the movements, and it's tiny, and I would rather use it as a walking around camera. I make a lot of mistakes. There was one time I was using it, and I kept forgetting to pull the dark slide on the film magazine, and I ended up with 3 shots out of a roll that can shoot 8. And, you know, it's like, wow, I wasted almost an entire roll because I'm an idiot.
That's one way to learn.
But I'd already shot with the camera a few times before then. So, but, I mean, for me, if I'm using one lens and, you know, I'm not trying to do anything weird, I'm just, and I'm paying attention and pulling the dark slide and getting my light readings properly, it's a good camera for walking around and getting a fairly large negative.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, thank you for showing us this system camera from, well, gosh, you know, the early 20th century to the mid 20th century. So it lasted a long time, amazingly. So we'll see you next time when we walk about with something else. And until then, have a great rest of your day. I'm Martin.
And Lars.
This has been Test Roll.